Okay, testing. Yes, we have audio. We are.
All right, we are. Okay. So I'd like to call the REAC meeting to order. So I'm going to do the roll call. Irene Coughlin.
Here.
Mark Geller. Peg Zugaby.
Here.
Rajamar. Tim Ryan. Okay, all. Okay, I'm going to move through this quick, but I don't want us to be rushed if you have a question. So we have to, someone needs to make a motion to convene the governance committee. The governance committee, for those new to the board, is the exact same members. But it just needs somebody to make a motion.
I'll make that.
Okay, and they can have a second on that. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. There's two things. Recommendation to readopt our corporate policies. Our policies have not changed. This is something mechanically we have to do every year to readopt our policies. I believe they were sent to you in advance, right? Sid, you did send them? So I don't believe I need you to act other than, the board, or someone can make a motion to recommend that we readopt the policy. So recommendations for that and to appoint officers will be the recommendation of the governance committee to the board, which is also you, that you then take in session. It's just,
We're not changing anything.
right, I'm not gonna explain
Right.
why, but this is how we have to do it. So, if someone could make a motion to recommend the adoption of corporate policies.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, and Mark, you gonna make a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then for officers, essentially, we're gonna keep the officers the same, but I've talked to everybody, the only difference is Tim's gonna stay as chair, Raj is gonna stay as vice chair. Peg, your secretary, given that Irene is a CFO, we asked if she wanted to assume treasurer. You were good with that? I think we talked about that. Is everybody okay with that? Because Irene actually is gonna work with me on some ways, as an aside. We're gonna tighten up our ship as far as our procedures, as far as how we do our.
She's good at that.
And I know that, so that's why I kick her out. So if everyone's good with that, someone has to make a recommendation to adopt that slate of officers. Mark?
Oh,
How about you?
Okay. Okay, with that said, someone can make a motion to end the meeting. Yeah. Adjourn. I couldn't think of the word, okay. What? It's not in the governance.
Oh, we're in the governance.
This is governance, okay, so someone make a motion to adjourn the governance committee. Okay, okay, so now we're reconvening our regular meeting, and there's two resolutions before the board. A resolution based on the recommendation of the governance committee to readopt our corporate policies. So if someone wants to make a motion to do that. Okay. And second, Raj, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And then second, a resolution based on the recommendation of the governance committee to appoint the officers that has been recommended by the governance committee. It's like word salad, I realize. Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Irene, okay, second?
To appoint yourself?
Okay, Mark Yellen. Okay, well, that's.
Mark, you said no.
Okay, there's no new business, I have no old business. The treasurer's report. If someone wants to review, if you review the treasurer's report, it's hate to sound flip about it, it's the same old as far as our few.
I'll make a motion, we accept the treasurer's report.
Okay. Treasurer's report, okay, Riley. Do I have a second? Okay. Mark Geller, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That's it. I'll read the minutes. REAC convened at 11 a.m. Governance committee, I'm going to give you a bridge version of it. But governance committee convened, and motion by Irene Coughlin, seconded by Mark Geller to adopt the policy, to recommend the policies be adopted. Motion by Mark Geller, seconded by Peg Zugaby to appoint officers, the slate that was proposed. All in favor? Motion by Tim Riley, second by Mark Geller to adjourn that regular meeting convened. Motion by Peg Zugaby, seconded by Rajamar to adopt the policies. All in favor? Motion by Irene Coughlin, seconded by Mark Geller to appoint the slate of proposed officers. All in favor? Board reviewed the treasurer's report, and a motion by Tim Riley, seconded by Mark Geller to accept the treasurer's report. All in favor? That said, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay. I think we did this too. Okay, so, next item. Okay, motion to convene the IDA. I'm sorry, that's not it. We'll do roll call. Margeller, Eileen Coughlin, Nick Zugby, Roger Marks, and myself. Okay, it's kind of the same drill, but now with the IDA. Motion to convene the governance committee.
So moved.
Okay. A second? Okay, Taylor, all in favor? Okay, motion to adopt the resolution adopting the agency's policies. Mark, okay, we'll give that one to Taylor, second by Irene. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And a motion to appoint the slate of proposed officers. Okay, Taylor, second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And a motion to adjourn the governance, or no, sorry. we already did that. We have,
No, that was governance for IDA.
okay, now we're back to, okay, sorry, now we, yeah, motion to convene, or to adjourn the governance committee? Okay, Roger Moore, all in favor, and now we're back in full session. Okay, now we need a motion by the full board to re-adopt the agency's policies.
So moved.
Okay, Mark, you want to second that one? Okay, and I'm sorry for rushing this. All in favor?
Aye.
And a motion, a resolution to appoint the proposed slate of officers. Okay, second?
Aye.
In some of these IDAs, the governance board is a subcommittee of a bigger board. So that's why you gotta go through all this.
Yeah. Okay, we have a Rockland Community College here, but I'm gonna put that back, take care of all of our business, if that's okay with everybody. Not on the agenda, Heidi, why don't you tell everybody how we're doing in compliance?
Compliance season is almost over. As of this morning, all of our projects have sent us all the information we need. So at this point, everyone is compliant or responding to compliance. The Paris report is almost complete. And then the next meeting, we'll have that annual report with you that analyzes all of that data and lets you know where everyone stands. So we're in good shape for the shape we're in, compliance-wise. Yes, I only had to make a few threats.
Yeah, I didn't even have to be a bad cop this year.
No, my own bad cop.
We'd be good cops, she'd ask nicely, and I'd have to ask me when they didn't do it, but she gets to do both. But I will say, as a side note, the decision to really have us do this whole thing in-house, because if you recall, last year, we outsourced it to a third party that Heidi worked closely with, but now we brought it pretty much 99%. We asked them, we still use them if there's some interaction with the ABO, but
She's definitely still in an advisory role, but we're pretty much 99% doing it ourselves. And it's because we're the experts on our projects, it just makes the report better. Another good update is we did a trial run this year now that we're doing labor in-house to collect construction numbers. And we thought we wouldn't report on those this year because it was kind of just getting everyone used to that. But we got really good data, so we can include construction numbers in our Paris report this year, which we historically haven't collected because we just didn't have the ability to do that. So that's nice. It gives us a better picture of the real economic impact of what we're doing.
And on a side note, it's big cost savings. We're not paying a vendor to do it, now we're doing it. So,
Will we see those numbers and so, I don't care if we see them, but we'll have a conversation about them when they're finished.
You are gonna see them. Sid is making beautiful graphs. You are gonna
Mhm.
have more information than you want. But yeah, you're gonna know what everyone.
Self-medicate before that meeting?
Yes, you're gonna know everyone's employee numbers, what they spent in the year, what their
I'm just
pilot
curious.
was. Yep, no, we'll have all that for you. So that'll be the next meeting.
it's all good stuff. It gives us that much more of a pegs exactly what our impact is on the community. Thanks, Heidi. Sarah, you want to give a little rundown on labor for the month?
Sure. Okay, so our February labor chart. I'm gonna address, look, most of our projects are well in compliance, so I'm gonna address the short stack on the list, which is 30 West. We are working closely with them both on-site and off-site and reviewing documents to see what we can do to get them compliant and get their numbers better. Their compliance for January was 80%, and they are clearly not making it this month. The bright spot in this picture is that even with them reporting and 2 projects dropping out because they are finished, our average compliance is 84% for all of our projects. So even with their numbers this month, we are still, as a whole, we're compliant, which means the other projects are doing more than what we were asking for.
Sarah, what went wrong?
That is an excellent question. I think that there were things that they did not understand, or so they have
Possible.
said when they signed it, that they, because of the unique constraints of affordable housing projects, they immediately put things out to bid and took contractors without really an eye toward our labor policy. They have different constraints because they're getting funding from the state. So there are certain things they have to do to get that state funding. And from what I understand, that's rather sizable funding.
Maybe I'll just tack on a little bit because we sat in a meeting with them last week. Yeah, last week.
Yes, yeah.
And addressed this matter specifically with them and gave them 2 directives of what to do. To take a look and see how do they get themselves in compliance, and to give us a better understanding that we can consider specifically if there are elements to affordable housing that we aren't aware of, or some element of affordable housing that makes it in conflict with our policy. We're open to it. I don't know if they can make that case or not, but we're taking a look at what they've sent us. And then this will be a follow-up, and we'll keep you guys abreast of that as we kind of take a good hard look at
So
it.
do they use all our labor policies in terms of, using unions and everything? Because if the state is funding it, they should be using it.
They do
You got an
not.
exemption on that.
Yeah, they do not.
Yeah, if we do it open shop.
I don't know why.
But when, and maybe this is a question you can help us answer. When Montefiore gets something from the state, do you have to use? No.
Yeah, we do it open shop.
If you get a HEAL grant from the state, that has to be prevailing wage. But a lot of the projects, the HEAL grant is only a small percentage of the money that's used on the project. So it will happen, I know this happened up at Orange County. 20% of the money was from the state, it was a HEAL grant. So the excavating was prevailing wage. And then they had an open book for everything else. And they proved it in court. It was a big legal.
What's the formula for demonstrating compliance? Like, how do you,
It's 80% of the workforce unless you have a waiver for the subcontractor.
so what does that mean? This workforce varies from month to month. Is it the total workforce divided by,
Yeah, so we get weekly reports, and then monthly we tabulate those reports.
so what's the
So-
formula?
So in other words, so the way that we work it is that each subcontractor, we list on the sheet, they say, these people were in area, these people were out of area. And we tabulate it every day. And then at the end of the week, we say, this many were in an area, this many were out of area.
So
And you need to
if
be
they, if in the
80,
first
20.
month they had 1,000 people working,
Mhm.
okay, and none of them were from the required areas,
Mhm.
they get a 0. The next month they have, and all subsequent months, they have 10 people working, but they're all in compliance.
Mhm.
They're never gonna get into compliance with the expectation, correct?
It is because of when they signed their agreements. We will be looking at the overall compliance, but we are on top of it every month because we don't know what those numbers are or what they're gonna be. So in other words, a project that's already starting to run way out of compliance, we are addressing that right away, even though technically for their projects, we will be looking at the end of the project because of when they sign their agreements.
We tweaked our policy last year.
Yes.
For this very issue. It was a little bit
Because
of
of
a,
this.
there's a little bit of a gap in there that said, it was the overall, during the overall year or construction period, what their numbers were. Problem was, when they're done, they're done. How do you correct it?
Well,
We
but
used to do
can you
more of a
project
rebate.
that they're gonna be uncorrectable?
Right. So that's what we have,
That's where we're
and that's where
looking.
you hit spot on. What we have 30 West in this case doing is giving us a projection, so we can say to them, okay, you know, you're telling us now there's no way you're gonna make it, then we have some issues to deal with. But we're working with them to say, okay, this is.
What's your commitment today to get to the number that we desire? If you can't give it that to us today, you're out.
Right, that's where then the board will come to the board, and the board will have to make some decisions as far as what they want to do on this project.
Ultimately, it comes back here.
The board has the right to make a decision, up to and including termination.
Can I just say one thing to it? I disagree with what you said.
Sure.
Affordable housing is housing, okay? It doesn't matter whether it's affordable housing or not. The issue here is their financing coming from the state. So the fact that it's affordable housing does not merit any kind of exception. Maybe the money, where it comes from, the funds, that's a whole nother argument or discussion. Okay, so just because it's affordable housing,
Okay.
they shouldn't get
Well, but if the state
exemption.
says you have to go absolutely to the lowest bidder, and the lowest bidder is not within compliance,
But that's my point,
Yeah.
is because, again, just looking at the structure, there's nothing magical about it.
And you're right there, but their argument to us was, there are caveats that aren't as black and white as that. We haven't come to the conclusion that they're right. We're gonna take a look at that, and that's gonna be more of a
although I guess
discussion.
they shouldn't be accelerated. Yeah.
So,
And the other thing, Mark, at the end of the day, any contractor can work on an IDA project. It's the workers.
Right.
So if you've got a guy from Jersey who wants to come on, fine. Just, if it's not an unusual trade, my point is, to build an apartment building, carpenters, plumbers, et cetera, you know.
Electrician.
Yeah, it's, you can use local, you might not want to, but remember when we started this and you signed the application, you agreed to the 80%.
But we have to, as a municipal agency, have to abide by the WICS law. We have to have, you know.
we can't override local.
But how could the state give out money
Thank you.
and then say that you don't? I agree with Rob.
They're using the public money to give for affordable
Because we
housing, and they say
receive
you can't do
public
the
money.
union. That makes no sense.
I agree with him. We receive taxpayer money, so have to abide by those rules. And there's no,
I
But
don't
he's
like
saying,
using them.
he's saying that there's other stuff that they.
but he's a private corporation.
Yeah.
So I can see where he might have different rules. The school district isn't, it's a municipal entity that operates on tax dollars or state aid. And we have to, that's it. It's black and white, but if the state is giving that entity state money, how do they get around? I agree with Raj, how do they get around that?
And I know I'm saying tomatoes, but what the state, the way the state presents it, it's not prevailing wage. It's area standards. And what are the area standards? Every year they come in, they do a survey, they say, oh, who does the work, who doesn't do the work? And in New York in particular, because it's a heavily saturated union state, at the end of the day, a vast majority of the work in the Hudson Valley is done, money-wise, is done by union work. They use those numbers to set the area standard. You go to South Carolina, the area standard is probably not the union wages. It's probably something else, where the unions aren't as strong. So at the end of the day, it's tailed to the unions, but that's not the theory. The theory is if you're coming in and you're getting state money, you gotta pay the area standard. We don't want you coming in here and paying somebody substandard wages on our tax money. That's the theory behind it.
As the recipient of those funds, like you're saying, it's municipal agencies, municipalities, like, we
Yeah,
all have WICS law, we have to comply with it.
I see it in black and white.
Right.
Oh, I know, no, I get it, I get it.
But if the state is giving money to an entity that doesn't qualify as a public entity, then they make their own rules.
Yeah.
It's who's getting money, but if we're getting it, if the municipality's gonna get grants, we have to comply with prevailing wage, we can't get around that, it's WICS law.
There's no way
All right.
around it.
No, but as a
Sorry, guys.
private company,
This is-
Sorry, Sarah.
I don't mean to- It's to be continued.
Yes.
We haven't said sure to them.
So Sarah, what I would recommend, okay, is that look a little deeper into it and see.
Oh,
if
we
they-
are,
If
yeah.
you got the state money, why are you allowed not to use unions? And I'll tell you something, him and I, we got into a lot of arguments over this union stuff in the past, right? He's got a lot more experience than I do. But if the state is giving funds, he's a different, the situation altogether, right? He's a private. They're building something for a profit. They're not doing it for a charity, and they're taking state money. And then, I'm not telling you, but they should, maybe it says you have to use the local laws, right? And then he came up with a good point. The first month you have 1,000 people, the next one you have 10 people, right? So we need to dig a little bit more and see what really is. So we also understand for the future when we make a decision on the board, that how do we, and what are they asking for?
I will, we will definitely be
Yeah,
digging
it's going
deeper.
to-
Like I said, we have more documents. We're in the process of reviewing them. So we're gonna get more information based on what they send, and we can continue to ask them questions.
But I think the flip side is if the lending to this entity includes compliance here, then they'll have.
That's right, yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It defies our mission.
You're a different, you're saving lives. For you to create something, you're creating an environment that enhances. They're
doing it for profit.
that's correct. There's a difference.
Yeah, I can see yours.
I mean, we're not naive that you build 12,000, you get friggin' $2,000. We're not stupid. We understand the interest something else, right? So for you, so we are, well, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so there's your answer right there. So for you, it's a different story. You're saving lives. Them, they should be in compliance.
I see it the same way as Raj, I just do.
We're going to
Sorry, Steve.
wrap this up. We're looking at what they did. They're going through the process.
Yeah, it's still in the process.
They'll look at it. I suspect it will also involve our council to review as well, and also their obligation to us, and there's going to be a conclusion to this, but to be determined. Just want to let
To
you
be
know that,
continued,
right, what's that?
to be continued.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, it is, because there's, like I said, but with that all said,
And how much leeway, I just have one more, how much leeway are we gonna give them? Like, when does it come back to us?
that's gonna come to the board, and we'll come to you and say, okay, they're out of compliance.
You'll find, he'll tell you what leaving.
Right. The board has up to
Because he knows the
including
union
termination
pretty well.
if they're out of compliance with our policy.
Okay.
Or they'll have to make that decision, but we're not there yet. Okay, apart from that, I don't think there's anything else. We have a reports. No? All right, let's, as far as our February financials. Again, it's the usual cast of characters, just a little longer list. Questions or someone wants to?
I move maybe it down.
We have a second.
I'll say.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, with that said, we've gotten taken care of the business that we had, our housekeeping for the month. What I'd like to do at this point is invite the folks from RCC to come in. They're going to give you an overview presentation proposal where they'd like to partner with us. If you want to invite them to join us, and it's a dialogue, I don't believe, I think we'll reinforce this, someone's looking for a decision today, this is just a, you know,
I just have one question on this financials because, are these public records?
everything.
We should start whitening out or blacking out.
There are included in this. People can have them if they want.
You guys can
I mean,
sit down,
there
I'll
are
stand.
public record, but
Just for security?
yeah,
We should not, okay.
yeah.
We have
No, I don't-
plenty
I
of
don't
chairs,
think
and they're
so.
just
Yeah,
awkward.
but if someone asked, we of course would have to provide.
Want to let the
what we
record
would
was-
need.
Yeah, yeah, don't worry, I
Oh,
would-
no, totally redacted,
See.
yes, let's not.
Well, let them sit there, and if
Okay.
you want to sit this in.
Yeah. Do we need one more chair? Here, take this one and I'll sit next to
I don't know if
you.
Howard's gonna, yes, another meeting.
Oh, that's great.
Should be one back.
Here's one back.
Yeah.
So, I'll let you guys get settled and
So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. Rachel and I were talking, it was about a year ago that we initially submitted something to the IDA, and our partnership has really blossomed over the past year, and we're just grateful for the opportunity to come to you today to share about some opportunities to help grow our workforce here in Rockland County. And this guy behind me.
Hey, Howard, sit there, sit there.
Actually,
That's two strikes, by the way.
I'm just here for a cameo appearance, so I have another meeting.
He's a local celebrity, but
So-
Howard is the vice chair of the RCC Foundation, and we're grateful for his leadership. And we wanted to get to know all of you, say a few words on the project.
Thank you. So I need to step back a couple of years, and I hope I don't get teary-eyed, but when I was on the board and Eric was the leader of the board and really is the guy responsible for bringing this organization to where it is today, he had two passions in his life, maybe three, and I put his family as almost number three. One was the IDA and the other was Rockland Community College. And to be able to, if he's looking down, to be able to stand here today and look at us and see what we're here for, I think he'd have a very, very big smile on his face. And it's also kind of neat, kind of knowing a little bit about where we were with money and kind of just banking it, that the IDA has come up with a phenomenal idea to take that and invest it back into the community. And I don't think there's any better investment than our students at Rockland Community College, which is obviously the local college. So I wanted to introduce Dr. Mullaney. I think you've met most everybody here, but Dr. Mullaney has really, in the very, very short time he's been here, I'm just thrilled to no end at how he's turned around the college. We have a balanced budget. It's amazing how well he's done in such a short amount of time. So again, thank you to everybody on the IDA for all you do, not only for hopefully the college, but just the community. Great, great organization. With that, I'm off. I don't get to the Oscars.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for inviting us in. I couldn't be more excited to be here to talk to you about where the college is headed. Rockland is a great school. You know, they've had some tough times recently, but one of my jobs is to sort of right the ship, and I think we're really heading in a positive direction. One of those directions is to really throw ourselves into workforce development. The college has built a great reputation on being a traditional school that we get the high school students in and they go on to a four-year school. A couple of years ago, the college created this division called Economic Mobility and Workforce Innovation, which began to put Rockland in the right direction, because higher ed has to change. We cannot rely on our, this four-year model. Transfer model would be, sustaining us. The population is changing. Higher ed has to change with it. So what this proposal represents is really the best thinking that we have to move the college to embrace the workforce needs of Rockland County. I mean, it's all about working with adult students, giving them the trainings that they need at the times and the modalities that they need. All about workforce readiness. It's all about workforce innovation. It's about short-term training. We've seen a lot of great interest in our micro-credentials in our college. These are short-term programs that people can come in and either upskill in a job or reskill to a different job. So what you've seen in this proposal is best practices that we feel will help us move the needle on really allowing the college to provide the county with the qualified workforce that they need. Much of this work is a credit to Dr. Rachel Need, who heads that Economic Mobility and Workforce Innovation Division and has just done an incredible job in just a short number of years, thinking in that forward futuristic mindset that we need pushing the faculty, pushing that to think differently about the work the college does in order to really serve the county in all its needs. So let me turn things over to Rachel to sort of walk you through some of the proposals.
Yes, a brief walkthrough. Okay, perfect. So when we looked at working with Rockland IDA, we really wanted to create a proposal that was an active partnership, that was proactive in collaboration, because especially in Rockland County, collaboration means strength. A lot of community stakeholders, organizations in the county are invested in workforce development. So how can we leverage that to support the community and the workforce pathways? So based on data that we looked at, in terms of unemployment and retirement shortages, we looked at different industries. Manufacturing and healthcare are two of our biggest ones, and how we can strengthen those, and also leverage our career services at the college to give a holistic and comprehensive support model for these students. So the primary focuses of the proposal focus on addressing the specific workforce needs within the county and preparing students for these positions. So that's providing mentorship programming with current employers, those who are experts in their specific field that will support students as they go through these short-term programs to not only get them ready to have the skill for these programs, but also professional skills, soft skills, and we also want to include financial literacy as part of that holistic support model for these students, so that they're not only ready to go out into the workforce and get sustainable jobs, but they also have the professional skills and the personal knowledge to manage their own finances as they move through the workforce. And then lastly, we also want to focus on hands-on learning, experiential learning, internships, practicums. Most of our workforce programs already have practicums embedded within the courses, meaning at the end of the course, they go to clinicals in a local clinic or doctor's office. They might work in a nearby hospital. For manufacturing, they may work with a local manufacturing employer. So we really want to emphasize those hands-on learning and those professional skills as they approach the workforce with these programs. So we just wanted to provide a few examples of the student impact already. So these are just two pictures and quotes from our manufacturing program. So our manufacturing program launched last spring, so it's only been a year. And since then, we have had about 8 to 10 students every cohort for our computer numerical control 1. So that's just, if you're unfamiliar, because I very much was back in a year ago. It's a specific machine that manufacturers in metal and plastics use. Yeah. So we train on that, and we have 2 courses for that. So there's been a number of successful students that have gone through that and have been employed in our region. We've also supported a manufacturer, PDI, with providing professional training for their current employees. And this has all been free of cost to students because we've embedded scholarships to eliminate those financial barriers for the students, which is something we've incorporated within this proposal. And then the next slide.
How are scholarships funded?
So we have a few different avenues. So we have scholarships from Orange and Rockland Utilities through a grant with them. We have a Gene Haas scholarship, and then we also have a partnership, well, it's a grant from Empire State Development for manufacturing, and a portion of that funding is scholarships as well. And then for a few years, we belonged to a organization called the American Association of Community Colleges. They have a specific grant called Metallica, which is based on the band. It's one of their grant opportunities that focuses on workforce development and manufacturing. So we've used all the funding from that grant just for scholarships for students. And so this is another example of a student in our manufacturing program who has taken actually all of our manufacturing courses over the last year. That he's been a part of RCC and works at a local manufacturing. And then the last one, I just wanted to show you an example, the last slide, of something that we've created. It's something small, right? But it shows a physical output of what our manufacturing program can do and where it can go. So the previous board chair of the college's board of trustees was stepping down, and the president and chief of staff wanted to create something to give him, to honor his dedication to the college. And so our CNC instructor and one of our students created this award for him. And it's, again, just another example of how we can, a physical way, contribute to the campus, but also the community, and what we can create in terms of workforce of employees, but also physical outputs of how we can contribute to the community. So that's it. So we can open it up to questions.
It's very impressive. What do you want from us?
So I think there's like a 20-page proposal. So it's a comprehensive proposal that's about $795,000. We are what?
Over how long?
3 years.
Okay.
3 years. And so the holistic student supports would be a part of that, which includes scholarship funding, exam fees for students. So at the end of the course, they don't have to pay to take that certification industry exam. We would pay for them. Certain software and hardware supplies. And then one of our biggest areas is a manufacturing site. So what we are hoping to do is find a building in Rockland County that we can call a manufacturing training center for the county to expand what we're doing already with those programs.
You had a program a few years ago where you would get a student in and make them a tradesman in 12 to 16 weeks.
Is that an apprenticeship?
I don't know.
Okay. I've been here, my work anniversary was last week, so 2 years. Anything before that has been kind of muddled, but I can look into that. Do you know what specifically, like what trade specifically?
We sponsored.
Oh, that was even before I was on the foundation board.
Okay.
That was when Susan Leiden was there. They had various programs to educate. We sponsored the students.
So the question is, do you still have that program? I guess.
We do not, yeah.
Okay. So the 795, like he asked, okay, explain this to me. It says it's to fund tailored training in short-term non-degree credential. What do you mean by non-degree credential?
So non-degree is something like our manufacturing course, right? It's a 15-week course. It doesn't have college credit attributed to it. So when the students complete, they still earn something, right? They earn an industry credential, whether it's through like Haas or another organization, and then they have that credential, they can go out into the workforce. We also have pathways from that non-credit to credit. So that non-credit course, what we're working on is a pathway where we can award that student credit if they wanted to pursue a degree. So for example, our certified medical assistant course, that's a several month program. They get their license at the end to be a medical assistant in New York State. That certification gives them 6 credits in the health science degree if they want to pursue a degree. So that's how our non-credit translates to credit. And then we also, Dr. Mulaney mentioned micro-credentials. So these are credit courses that are kind of bundled based on specific skills. So if there is a specific skill, let me think, in business, right? A certain accounting thing that can be learned, a specific skill set. And then there's 3 courses that students can take to show that they've attained that skill for the industry. We bundle those 3 courses together. They earn the micro-credential, and if they want to pursue a degree in business, automatically those 3 credits are applied to that degree. So they're non-degree, but they're still credit. And then we have non-degree,
So
but
they
non-credit.
train on accounting to become bookkeepers, but they're not certified to become a controller or a CFO.
Right, correct,
And if they want to go that route, they can further study to do.
correct.
So how long does it take you guys from the student starting? Like, every industry is different, of course, we understand.
Correct.
But let's assume that it would be accounting or it would be manufacturing. For them to get no credits, and if they want to further study, like you said, after a certain amount of weeks, they can go back and in the workforce and use what they learned here.
Yeah.
But for them to be certified, just you have, like, every industry is different, like in the manufacturing, it may be 12 weeks and then.
Right.
Yes.
So,
Those vary based on the credentials.
Yep.
So, right.
Yep, and the specific skills. And so what we've done is any new non-credit program we develop, I work with an expert in the field who's working like in manufacturing. We have a manufacturing advisory board with local and regional manufacturers, and we've provided them our draft curriculum. They've provided us feedback, and then we update them regularly, and they say, you know, maybe for your second CNC class, you can increase the number of hours because they need to learn X, Y, and Z. So I can go back, do a revision on our curriculum, and then we extend it from 90 hours to 180 hours and put in the specific skills that they want to see students come out with.
in this requested amount, are you asking for any hardware money? Or are you
Yes.
gonna put some?
Yeah, there's some.
Okay.
It's gonna get into that.
Yeah.
How many students are we talking about per year?
I think you have that experience.
I think I had that in the proposal. Let me just take that out because I don't want to misspeak.
Peggy, what was the question? I didn't.
How many students per year are we
Page
talking? Page 11?
How many? Oh, page 11.
Yeah.
I think you said 11.
85 students per year?
Page seven.
No.
So I have
Subsection.
1,400 students over the 3 years.
Yes.
1,400
Correct.
over the 3 years. That's great.
Do you
Yeah.
work with the WIB at all?
Yes.
Workforce Investment Board? Do you get any money?
Well, it's like the Workforce Development Board now, right? They've renamed it. Yeah, I just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing. Yeah.
We're both on.
I'm on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a quick, like, one of our partners is BOCES, and we provided a lot of hardware and a lot of equipment for them, for both the high school students, students taking, I guess it's CTEC it would be, and also adult education. Does this complement, or how can we, like, is it, I hope it's not in competition, I don't think
No.
it is. How does it, like, is there a relationship there, or a natural handoff, or some element?
Yeah, I mean, there apparently was some friction in the past, but, Rachel and I have been working closely with the folks at BOCES because there's no reason for us to be in competition. There's so many jobs out there, and it's really about sort of showing how our programs work together, like our automotive programs. They work closely together, like they start at BOCES and then they come to us, and then they get their associate's degree. So,
Right.
there's such a great job need, and we're partners, we're not competitors. So.
Right.
And this
Yeah.
is something that, since you took over, you started?
Oh, absolutely. Met with,
Very
Chris
impressive.
Dambreeze, Rachel and I were there on Friday, getting a tour of all the programs, so.
I think that's a great support for the students who are, they're young, right? So they're unsure of where they want to go in their life. The
Yeah,
support
yeah.
system from one to another is tremendous. So
Yep.
God bless you. Good.
Absolutely.
That's very nice.
Right, there are some programs they do on their own, but there's some like they do the CNA and then they come to us as nursing students. So they're pathways. That's what, we're about building pathways.
Right.
And I can echo, I have somebody that is very close to me that works for BOCES, so my wife, but she says the relationship, you're right, it's history.
Yeah.
But they said you're seeing a complete different dynamic going on, developing now, and that's wonderful.
I haven't had a chance to read through all of this.
Yeah, me too.
It's itemized as far as the expenditures.
Yep.
The point I'm bringing up is that in the past, the board has had some issues with paying tuition, scholarships, things of that nature, because it's a one-term investment. I'm just speaking for myself. I'm a lot more comfortable with what we did with BOCES. They upgraded a lot of their equipment, things of that nature, which there's longevity there. It's not just one class, they'll perpetuate over
Correct.
numerous classes. So I hope that's explained here,
Yes.
so that we could look at it, maybe break it out if the board needs to.
Yeah, the scholarships are quite a small portion of the proposal. Everything else is tangible, right? Tangible specific items that are needed to grow the programs over
Training,
time.
equipment.
Yeah, and in the itemization, there's specific, a narrative for why everything is needed.
Without reading this, just give us a percentage ratio. Like, is the equipment 70%, 60%, and the students?
I would say it's about 85%. I believe there's a little over $100,000 in scholarships for 3 years.
You know,
Chat about the facility a little bit. I know that's an ongoing process, as far as, maybe expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, so I can give some context. So currently, our manufacturing programs are housed in Orangeburg at our automotive site. And we've already outgrown the one space we have. We're restricted to a schedule of Fridays and Saturdays because the automotive classes are held throughout the week and there's no ceilings. So we can't have the CNC machine running when there's other classes going on.
Literally no ceiling.
Correct, no ceilings. And the automotive lab can't occur when we're teaching a lecture portion of our class. So we're restricted to a very specific time.
I don't.
Yeah, it's like a warehouse, and they've created walls.
There's walls, but no ceiling. There's no
So, when you say there's no.
So
ceiling,
everything
it's not like-
echoes. Yeah. There's also a restriction in the summer because there's no air conditioning in that building. So we can't offer classes in like July and August. And we can't offer classes simultaneously. So if we're offering a CNC 1 class for 15 weeks, that's the only class we can offer there until that class ends, and then we can offer another one. So yeah.
What does CMT stand for?
Computer numerical controls.
Thank
So it's a specific machine, it's a specific language, a code language to run that machine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing is the site in Orangeburg isn't going to work, and given the needs of a manufacturing site, the Suffolk campus can't accommodate it either. So we really need a separate space that we're excited about could become branded as the RCC workforce site.
So, do you own the building in Orangeburg?
No, we rent.
So let me ask you a different question so that we can better help you guys, right? If you put the air condition and the ceiling, I don't know what that ceiling meant, but okay, but would you be able to increase your student base in teaching? No.
No, the space is
Restricted.
restrictive, and quite frankly, the reason we have the cost of a lease space is because that space is very costly for us. And we've been in that space for quite some time. We have about 3 years left on the lease, so
You don't have a buyout?
I'm sure there might be an opportunity. I'm not familiar. That would be a question for our CFO. But we're really looking for a site that would allow us the potential of having manufacturing and potentially moving the automotive program.
Because that site, our automotive program is thriving. We have over 200 students enrolled in it now, and that's growing with our Senior Reconnect program, which is free community college for students in that program as well as other programs. So that site is just not big enough.
Dr. Maloney, why did you pick Orangeburg? Just I know before your time, right? No. The reason I'm asking is, in general, Orangeburg is more expensive. There's other parts of the county that would be a little bit more affordable, where you could get what you're looking for. So I'm just, I mean, I know it's before time.
Predates. So
Yeah, I get it.
But what I can tell you is that the CFO and I are examining every contract at least the college has. Some we question about the decision making behind it, but we really need to sort of make more fiscally responsible decisions for the college.
Well said. Well said.
I was just gonna say those exact words. Look at this. Ooh, I just dodged that ball.
Have we identified
Guys,
a site that we're interested in?
Absolutely. That's
We're
I was
on
thinking
the
the same
same
thing too.
wavelength. We
And
just
you
sit
know
in
what?
the cone of silence.
It takes a dead spot, makes it alive.
I
and it's
know.
perfect.
We were thinking,
live
I will tell
broadcast.
you, we were thinking about the Westward side.
That's what we should be talking about.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think it's one of the reasons we're coming to you. In the proposal, you'll see we don't have a site identified. We're working with Howard, but, we looked at one site, but price-wise, we couldn't afford it. So we're looking for something that fits within the financial proposal.
So are you thinking of a collaboration with the
Well,
town?
there's also.
But what about the state? Did they help?
I don't know.
There's
I mean, it's not
also.
a village. It used to be
But
owned
that's
by the
owned-
state,
but that's
No,
owned
it's
by
not
the
anymore.
Municipalities
but it
now.
gave it to the town.
That's owned by Stony Point and Haverstraw now.
But will the state help with any funding to get the building up
But
and
see,
going?
we-
So that would-
I just want to say,
We own our buildings and we can only use them for education purposes.
But it is education, right?
That's what I'm saying. They would fit into our course.
So,
One of the things, go ahead.
no, so the question would be, have you guys had any discussions with the school boards or any of the municipalities about Letchworth? I mean, we can.
I don't think
have
they've
conversation.
gone that far
I don't
ahead.
think they've-
Right.
No, this is
I
the
didn't think
first,
we
I mean,
wanted to
this is
put
the
the
first
cart
we've heard
before
about
the
that
horse.
We can't do this project without funding. So
Yeah.
for us, the space, the lease space, that's where we need to really look at this and say, for us to grow this manufacturing program, for us to add other innovative initiatives, we need space. And we're not in a position at this time to do that on our own. So we need a partner. And we feel that the IDA is the right partner to help in the workforce, to help create a pipeline for the different programs and organizations within the county. And we have the expertise. We're looking for someone who has the capital to help invest in that.
Maybe also, I don't want to be the wet blanket guy, but this is being broadcast. This isn't the forum to be talking about specific locations either. But one of the elements I don't want to go unnoticed that we were talking about, because we had a pre-meeting with the folks as far as this whole thing as they were shaping the proposal for the board. And we also said possibilities apart from, say, partnering as we have with BOCES and Joanio to consider. There's also the element of the IDA working with them as we have with, you recall RCC actually was in the building over the Ginsburg building and the Stone building in Haverstraw.
Oh, yeah.
Where there was, the municipality structured or the owner structured a deal with the taxing entities, the school district, the town, the village, a pilot.
In the village.
So there's a variety of levels that this can go, and that's consistent with putting our heads together and saying, hey, we all pushing in the same direction.
You need an empty building, is that what you're looking at?
So it has to have some size, like, certain height, height of a roof and, or ceiling.
So it has to have certain specifications.
Yeah.
Right.
But again, specific
Utilities,
locations, I would
yeah.
suggest be done as another occasion.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I guess was one.
Do you deal with different, with the automotive, different dealerships? I mean,
Not as many as we'd like.
okay.
We have a connection.
Well, we have Ford, we
Yes.
deal with Ford, Subaru, our two main partners, Toyota.
Toyota.
No.
My sister works for Subaru up in Orange County, and she has mentioned that some of the kids, people,
They've been very generous to us. They donate cars for the students to work on.
and they've had a lot of graduates from your program end up there.
Absolutely.
Yes,
That's great.
absolutely. Well, we know we've dumped a lot of information on you, and you have the packet before you. So again, we just want to reiterate that this is a wonderful opportunity for us to continue this partnership and grow it. And I'm sure Dr. Mulaney will be happy to share any additional information that you have, as well as Rachel.
I hope you hear the excitement in our voices. Hope you hear the passion. We're all doing it for our students, right? And we know that you're here for workforce, and this is where our interests align. So this is a new chapter in RCC, and just excited for you to be part of that chapter with us. So and thank you for considering this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and just from a next step standpoint, we'll, like, obviously the board will huddle, we'll talk, there may be some follow-ups, and this is to be continued.
We'll bring you back and beat you up again.
We're ready. Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
guys.
Just move blindside a little bit, so I don't shoot everybody. Oh,
Am I on video too?
well, it's
Yes.
a live feed by law, we have to, I'd say, how many people are typically watching this?
Just me, I'm the only one that ever makes that.
Okay.
But anyone's welcome to, yeah.
All right, should I slide over?
Yeah, come
Yeah,
on
come sit
over
over here.
here.
Strap yourself in.
Let me just say
Ready to
goodbye.
go.
Goodbye, all.
Bring a camera right over the
Let everybody.
Lino, I got a quick question.
Sure.
Legally, with the lease part of that, is that gonna be a problem?
For us?
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I didn't wanna bring.
They don't have-
I don't want to get killed.
I don't wanna belabor the
They
point.
don't have a lease listed here as part of it.
Pardon me?
They don't have a lease here as part of it.
No, my point is like an honest, they lease the building. So we shouldn't do anything to the structure. Like, well, they need air conditioning?
Okay.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, no, we can't. No, I haven't read it.
And so when I came in.
We can buy the equipment that goes in the building.
You'll have to start.
But it has to be able
Yes,
to.
the committee of a big deal.
Soda bread with a sign, anyone? Or signs or soda bread over there?
The guy calls me up, he said, don't eat breakfast, and then there's no breakfast. at the table.
There's soda bread.
We just had a bagels and briefings down in, Haverstraw.
Well, that's what we were told, it's gonna be bagels.
Irene, would you mind giving me?
That's exactly what she's doing.
Get him something to eat, will you? Just to.
No. How I
I was
put,
being polite. I was
No, no,
gonna say.
that's not how I put, last time you went on a meeting, they told you that, you ate, right? I said, yes. I said, this time they said, don't eat. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, fine, no problem, I won't eat.
Nice
It's
fresh
the box.
soda bread, Carrie's Gold, butter and croissants, so please, everyone dive in. Jeff, thank you for coming. Just as a background, I'll let Jeff talk a little bit about, but it's always a good idea on a couple of, sort of blindsides, because I know you just came in to, get together and say hi to a few of the folks here. But the RBA is really taking great strides, and I know Mark, hear from you as well, but as far as really, it had been leaner times, and they are really diving headfirst into really making an impact out there. And I thought it'd be a good idea as part of the building of the relationship between the IDA and the RBA. Maybe you just want to tell them what some of the.
Yeah, so, thank you for having me here. Dr. Geller is actually speaking at our April luncheon with Dr. Andrew Pickens, so we're doing
What is
a.
that?
No. Okay. TBD, I guess, based on the.
Were you volunteering?
So, I came on board with the RBA in October of 2024. I was the chief of staff when I first came on. Ken was brought on as president, so he asked me to come in, help re-energize RBA 2.0. In 2025, we increased our membership 70%, and we have a refocus on bringing value to our members, not just being a symbol that represents, a social club. We've expanded our councils. We have a nonprofit council. We're introducing a healthcare council in May, which I hope Dr. Geller participates or his team participates in that as well. A women's leadership council. We have an energy council, 9 councils in total. But it's really important. I see myself as a facilitator of relationships between government, elected officials, universities, hospitals, small, medium, large-sized businesses, because my philosophy from my past experiences as a CEO, I was in the fashion industry. I had a hosiery company for 10 years. Before that, I was in hospitality, HR. Everything is supply chain and connectivity, right? So the more we network, the more we meet interesting people who can provide access, people who can provide capital, the more we can get done, especially in Rockland County, which I believe has been stagnant for decades and is living in sort of a past euphoria. And we're not moving forward to replenish the young working professionals, independent singles, children that I flourished in the early 90s and late 80s. So
Maybe I'll just add to it. I know, Tim, if you recall, about, I'd say maybe 9 months ago, we sat down with some folks there, and we talked about what we want to see as far as growing the relationship with the IDA, and they've taken those steps.
Okay.
Like I said, now the RDA is, kind of, taking positions on key issues that, impact, they're, you're right, it's more than just a, group of businesses getting together, it's real initiatives. I know Lino has, I know.
See ya.
Mark, okay. Yeah, we're good to go.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, of course, it's ready. I'm sorry. I can't wait.
Okay.
Nothing personal.
No, I showered this morning too.
So, that's why I try to make my meetings quick, efficient, boom, 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 so I know I start to lose them. Okay, Mark, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, so there's nothing that I dislike more as well as to just have endless meetings of, complaints and not actually executing anything to get done. We introduced, so I became CEO in November of 2025. I find it very important to, not only have these conversations, but then take active steps to moving forward to actually deliver, right? So we reintroduced the CEO Forum back in December. And from the first CEO Forum, something came of it, conversation between Steve and Paul Adler and everyone, and talking about, the inefficiencies of, planning boards, zoning boards, and capital coming to our county and getting frustrated. So, shall I continue with this topic, or?
Just a quick,
So we're taking the necessary steps, meeting with the necessary people. We're trying to create a playbook that would be of best practices. And so in conjunction with that, I see the councils that I referenced before as subsidiaries of the RBA. They're not just social groups to talk and chat, but they are directories, and they are, if there is a healthcare council, they should be coordinating the advocacy agenda to streamline up to us so that we could be the front face of that advocacy, mostly through Ken, who has his relationships with Albany and Brown and Weinrauch. So we're trying to make this into a true corporation by association while maintaining our 501c6 status.
Can you specify a little bit, what does the RBA really do?
What do we do?
Yeah.
So,
Like when somebody wants to come to the county, what's your steps?
so what the RBA does is, I say, we facilitate relationships between government officials, electeds, utility companies, hospitals, all of, so that you can get from phase 1 to phase 2 in the quickest amount of time. So you being at the table allows you to be in the room with people who do practice, the best practices. If you're a nonprofit, if you're a small nonprofit, right, who has a 5-man team, you want to be at the nonprofit council with the CEO of Meals on Wheels, with the CEO of United Hospice, who's going to advise you on how to go from 1 to 5 employees to 5 to 10 employees. They're going to tell you the ins and outs of getting grants and expansion and who you need to talk to. And also collaborating a lot. We're seeing a lot of these small nonprofits, right, using, one human resource department for 3 companies, right? So they're, being in the same room with each other, they're now building bonds and chains to, cut down on cost of their operations while also, doing best practices and giving off a good presentation as a responsible, competent company.
I think
So
Community Foundation just did that. They went from Orange and Sullivan into Rockland County. They all combined together.
Right, but I'm talking about 2 separate entities, again, like a United Hospice and a Meals on Wheels would be sharing human resources.
Oh, that'd be-
Obviously, they have giant budgets and they're not doing that. But I'm talking about the smaller ones, you shouldn't be intimidated. A lot of times people say, well, we're a nonprofit, we're only 2 people, why would we want to be a part of this, right? It's an education system too, at what other world would you have the opportunity to be around the CEO of these major corporations, right? They're going to guide you.
Because if you want to grow, the guidance is pretty good. Because you'll learn from the person who has a bigger non-for-profit.
I think also, the benefits of being a member organization, which is the RBA, is obviously, as you say. I think the other half of it is the advocacy element that speaks on behalf of issues that are the concern of Rockland's business. Maybe you want to speak to that a little bit, how you've been ramping up the advocacy, or the plan is to ramp that up.
The plan is to ramp it up. We've introduced an advocacy. We've put our brand, our symbol on several bills in support of the governor's initiatives to some degree. We've created a streamlined process so that we can be very nimble with those approvals. But there is a philosophy behind what we're doing that, again, it is the strength in numbers, right? In building this playbook, getting all the engineers, all the people in construction, the unions, the zoning, the planning, the council members, the town supervisors, the county executives, to collaborate and get together and advocate for certain policies and certain changes that, again, Ken could speak more to that because that's his area of expertise. But we want to mitigate the endless cycle of frustration at these planning meetings, these zoning board meetings, where people who are on the boards are afraid to make a mistake. They're not getting an education on the best practices. So, they come from different backgrounds and they just don't know, and they don't want to be screamed at by their next door neighbor. So, the more that the IDA, the county, the RBA, and then the subsidiaries who are our members, are standing shoulder to shoulder, it's presenting the strong front and the validation and the expertise as to why this project needs to go forward. Versus the 5 people who show up on a 7:30 Tuesday night at a planning board meeting, go to the mic, and then they say, okay, we're gonna delay this for another month.
So, like I said, I want you guys to get a chance to get to know Jeff and also get to know what the RBA's been up to. It's a new RBA.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Irene Coughlin.
Okay.
I have been on the IDA board for about 3 months now, 4 months, maybe longer.
Maybe
it's 6
like
months.
forever.
I work as a CFO for Portables. What do we call it? Portables Choice Group. Portables Unlimited is what I call it.
Irene and I go back 22 years.
We go back a long way.
She's our CFO.
Meeting.
Okay.
So I'm the CFO there. I'm also on the foundation board for RCC, and I'm on the board for Habitat.
Okay.
So a lot of stuff that you said, we had a Habitat meeting this morning, resonates with the non-for-profits. We're very small, very limited funding, and they need that guidance.
Right. So we imagine, whether with the nonprofit, we imagine, or the healthcare, that there's going to be, public, digital and manual journals that will go around to facilities. So if you're in Burke Rehabilitation, you're looking at the RBA healthcare perspective, right? So you're flipping through it like, this is what I need, or my mother needs this, or, and it's sort of an advocacy and reinforcement and re-endorsement of all these businesses within that industry. So, but I encourage you to come to, the next nonprofit meeting. It's going to be next month at, I think it's next week, March 20th. The days are moving so fast.
Well, when's the next luncheon? When's the next RBA luncheon? Because maybe
Next Thursday.
Okay. Maybe we'll see whether it's this one or the next. Yeah, we can. I don't want to lose everybody, so I have to read the minutes. Because you have to go, so I have to read the minutes, and then adjourn the meeting, and then I'll have you go ahead and sign everything if that's okay. So,
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Okay, I had to just do this mechanical thing, Jeff, so it's going to be rude. All right, the meeting was convened at 11:15 a.m. Motion to convene the governance committee, motion by Peg Zugby, seconded by Mark Geller, all in favor. Following discussion, the committee recommended adopting the policies, motion by Mark Geller, seconded by Ivan Coughlin. All in favor. Recommendation to appoint legislative officers, motion by Mark Geller, seconded by Roger Martin. All in favor. Governance committee adjourned. Motion, general meeting resumed, and a motion by Peg Zugby, seconded by Mark Geller, to re-adopt agency policies. All were in favor. Formal resolution to appoint the proposed slate of officers, motion by Mark Geller, seconded by Ivan Coughlin. All in favor. By the Director of Operations, Heidi Van Diver, gave an overview of compliance. I'll fill in a little bit more volume to that in the notes. But the good news is we're on track. We're good. The process is working well. Sarah McTasney gave an overview on labor. Again, there was discussion about the level of compliance in some projects in particular. I'll fill in some of the blanks in the minutes on that. The board reviewed the treasurer's report, and motion by Irene Coughlin, seconded by Tim Riley, to adopt the financials. A presentation by Rockland Community College to partner with the IDA on variety of workforce development programs was done. And again, discussion to be continued as we go forward. That said, motion to adopt the minutes.
So moved.
Okay. And I guess motion to adjourn. Okay. We are done. Okay.
Did you leave it?
No, I'll be back. I just gotta go to the bathroom.
I got a set and sign everything.
Take my name, you gotta see.
So,
I don't have.
Can
It's okay.
Think I'm not-
You are, we'll schedule those balance.
Okay.